everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me Anarghya, and today's reading is going to be about Jungkook from BTS and Blackpink's Lisa. We're going to see what's going on between them. I did a reading for them like a month or so back, and a lot of people asked for an update, so this is me replying to you all. So let's get started, and before we do, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because it really helps the channel and it makes me really happy. Just a small subscribe from you can put up a big smile on my face for the rest of the day, so please don't be shy. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so I've pulled out the cards, so let's see what's going on. And if you can't exactly see the cards, but I'll show them to you. There's a lot of everything going on, to be honest, at this specific moment. Like, you know, we have a lot of various energies which are very beautiful, and there's a lot of energies which are sort of different than what expected. And there's also a lot of like healing, and there's like a lot on the plate, to be honest. So let's just get into it. I won't waste any of your time now, and let's just get straight away into it. They might be at a place where there's a lot of like changes going on between their situation over here, right? You know, because I'm watching, there's a lot of abundance, there's a lot of like stability, there's a lot of like opportunities for them coming in, and there's opportunities for love, there's stability regarding to love. There is some sort of love, like I'm watching a lot of love and partnership, but I'm not really watching any sort of like public recognition or commitment, or you know, it's like they are having their time and they're doing stuff, but I'm not really watching any sort of commitment really going on with it. Like there is, you know, it's like it's not really this type of like it's not really going on in the old school way. There is for sure some sort of, you know, connection between them. There is a stuff going on between them, but I won't say that they're publicly dating. They might not be publicly dating right now, or they might not have announced anything right over. Like whatever's going on right now is more of a like just they're having the time of their lives and they're enjoying it. And yes, there is a lot of stability and there's a lot of like scope for the future, but it's like they're not really taking it like one step at a time, you know, like the way you're supposed to climb a ladder. There's a talking stage, then you start dating, and then you get to know each other. If you like each other, then you spend more time, and then you get into an actual official relationship, and that's how it goes, right? But for them, I'm watching like they're not really following the pathway that most people do, and they are really not just like, it's like a sort of situationship, and people, it's like if you're outside of the relationship, you can't really define it, you don't have the words to define it right now. And although there's a lot of scope, to be honest, that I'm watching, but there's also a lot of work going on. You know, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of patience required right now, because it's still like the foundation of the relationship is still being formed, you know, like there is stability and there is that feeling of like family, that feeling of comfort, that feeling of home, but not really any commitment. And that, you know, that sort of that the foundation on which the relationship is built, that is still being formed right now. So that is something they need to be really careful about. They need to be careful with their words, and they need to really like sort of be, you know, like be smart about whatever they're doing, because it's sort of like I'm watching sort of like a risk. Like they're not really going by the book, they are taking the risky way, and that's why, you know, it might be like communication might be a little difficult for them. You know, they are communicating, that's for sure. I'm watching communication, but it's like, you know, freely expressing yourself might be a little difficult right now, because it's like they are a little still trying to like, you know, not mess things up. That's why they're sort of nervous around. There's still that sort of like nervousness around each other, maybe. And it might not be like they feel nervous around each other, they feel very comfortable, but when it comes to certain things, specifically communication, it might be like they feel a little bit of like that sort of, you know, angst between. But these are things that they're working over, and I don't really know. Again, see, there's a wall. We're talking of some sort of separation, some sort of like, you know, they might be like they are keeping themselves guarded from the public. They are trying to keep it like very private. They're trying to keep the relationship maybe very private, or maybe there is some sort of wall that they're just very guarded at this point is what I'm seeing, you know. And it's like whatever people are coming up with stories about them, with different analysis, with different, you know, explanations, but it's like, you know, they are not really ready to share their story right now, and their story is pretty different from what you are seeing on the internet by different sources is what I'm seeing. You know, it's sort of complicated maybe, and it's like they are not very sure about the, you know, like telling people around or making this public or stuff like that. Maybe they're not sure about that because, you know, deep down they don't know what the future holds for them. Like they're trying not to really think about the future right now. It's just like, you know, these things, there are some things that they're trying to avoid, and the future talks about future, and, you know, really planning on what they have to do. These are some things that they are really not trying to get into right now is what I'm saying. You know, they just feel like there's like a sort of helplessness regarding it. You know, they feel like they have their own battles, and they're both like, I'm not talking about one of the people, I'm talking about them both, and they both feel that within themselves that, you know, like they're helpless about this, and they can't really make the relationship public, or there's a certain communication gap that needs to be filled, and they feel like they can't fill it right now or something, or there might be some sort of interferences from outer people as well. That is another thing that's coming out. There might be people who are trying to interfere into their business. There might be third parties who feel like they have unfinished business with these people, and they don't want to stir the drama, and that's why they might be like trying to keep it on the low. That's why they're not really confirming any rumors about them such yet. But, you know, the strong message over here is that they have some sort of wall, they have some sort of guard on them, and they're trying to protect themselves and each other from the people around. These are not walls that they have for each other, these are the walls that they have for each other, you know, like for the world, like to be separated from the outer circle or the outer world, or whoever is trying to, you know, whoever will try to come in between or something like that. And that's why, you know, this might also be a healing period for most of them. So that's again a reason why they are not really doing this by the book. And right now, because of their hectic careers, their schedules, and everything that's going on, they sort of need to like take it a little slow and, you know, be a little restful, calm, and like just go with the flow, but like not really just in a fiery way, more in a like one step at a time way. You know, they really need to like slow down. Maybe like that's a sort of advice coming in for them, and they really need to slow it down and take it one step at a time. But yeah, there's a lot of potential, that is for sure, that is coming out strong. But yeah, if not handled correctly, it might also feel like pressure, and that's what they're trying to avoid. That is the reason why they enjoy each other's company so much. Like even after having these sort of like interferences, or maybe, you know, like some sort of obstacles, they still want to spend time with each other. There might be some sort of drama revolving the situation, because there are incomplete stories. Again, see, there are incomplete stories coming out. This is not the full picture yet. There's a lot to this, but you know, these are like few random things that I'm taking on from the reading. There's a lot more. Like the rabbit hole goes deep is what I'm channeling right now. And again, you know, there's a lot of things that are not really clear over here, because this is like a major basic, you know, reading about whatever there's, you know, where their energy is right now, and this is what's coming out. But you know, it's like they're fully grown adults, and they'll find a way through this. Whatever they choose to do will probably be the right decision, and we as fans cannot really interfere with that. So yeah, I guess that's it for the reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Okay, so until I see you next time, bye bye and take care.